Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us mercy and blessing to continue our online class today. Secondly, salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has guided us from darkness to brightness. The Honorable our lecturer, Dr. Farida Repalitawati Kemarin M. Hum and all of my beloved friends. Okay, we are the 11th group. We will discuss about translating poetry. But before we go into the material, I will introduce our group. I'm Dinda Nadira Limbong and my friends Baiti Ginting, Elsa Septriana, and Iqbal Habibi. So, let's go into the material.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I'm Iqbal and I will explain about what is poetry. Poetry is a literary work resulting from the expression and feelings of a person with language that is born to rhythm, dimension, rhyme, composing lyric and stanzas. Poetry is the most personal and concentrate of the four forms, no redundancy, no fatigue language. Whereas a unit, the word has greater importance than in any other type of the text. And again, if the word is the first unit of meaning, the second is not the sentence of the preposition, but usually the line. Again, demonstrating a unique double concentration of units. Okay, and the types of poetry are poetry. The first, the second is poetry, but poetry as pantun mean of Indonesian and poetry as a poetry in Indonesian is different. Okay, and the next is telephone, incantation, and gurinda. And structure of poetry is the first is there is physical structure. There is diction, imaging, majas, rima, the algorithm, typography of poetry, and the inner structure in a poetry is there is a time, feeling, tones, atmosphere, and the last is the most important. There is message. I think that's enough explanation for me.
Hi, I'm Elsa Septriana Wijayana Sution, and in this change, I'm going to explain the next materials about metaphors. Do you know, guys, what is metaphors? Okay, I'll let you know about it. Metaphors is a figure of speech that, for rhetorical effect, directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. It may provide clarity or identify hidden similarities between two ideas. Metaphors are often compared with other types of figurative language, such as antithesis, hyperbole, metonymy, and simile. There are some types of metaphors, namely, the first is absolute metaphors, the second is that metaphors, and the third is extended metaphors, the fourth is implied metaphors, and the fifth is mixed metaphors, and the last is root metaphors. The first, absolute metaphors. These metaphors compare two things that have no obvious connection in order to make a striking point. The second is that metaphors. These metaphors have lost their punch through overusage. And the third is extended metaphors. These are exactly as they sound. They're likely metaphors that are intended to create deep comparison. And the fourth is implied metaphors. These metaphors compare two things without using specific terms. And the fifth is mixed metaphors. These metaphors jumble comparison together without any logic. word metaphors. These metaphors are so written in everyday language and assumptions we hardly even recognize them as metaphors. Okay, I think that's all. And thank you for your attention. Going to the next explanation. Dadah!
Okay, I will explain about corresponding punctuation. Punctuation plays a wider role in the translation poetry, so using it haphazardly leads to misunderstanding the text and consequently the wrong translation. There are many differences between languages with regard to punctuation marks. Punctuation marks are used by poets and poetic devices to express their attitudes, and they have given their poem specific color and flavor. Speakers may use their voice tone, facial expression, or gesture to indicate power, exclamation, or etc. However, they use punctuation marks to do so in writing. They can be classified into punctuation marks, enclosing punctuation mark, and punctuation mark used within the words. The reader should not belittle the importance of punctuation marks in understanding a certain text. Additionally, the translator does not need to imitate the source text in translation, but he or she has to observe the norms and context of the target text. Accordingly, punctuation marks differ from one language to another. Okay, that's all explanation from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi everyone, my name is Betty Genteng and I will continue our discussion today that is about how to translate metaphor accurately. Have you ever wondered, can we translate metaphor literally or not? So here I will give you the answer. So actually we have three methods or three ways that we can use to translate metaphor. The first one is literal translation. It means that we translate metaphor literally, but remember we can only use a literal translation if the metaphor is universal or it is used everywhere, or in source language it is the same if we translate it to target language. So for example, in English we have a metaphor black sheep. If we translate it to Indonesia, we have the same metaphor, that is kambing hitam. So we can use the metaphor with literal translation. So the second one is translation with addition. It means that we translate a metaphor with a little addition to it, so the metaphor can be understood fully in the target language. For example, Las Vegas is a mirror surrounded by glaring lights. To translate this, we need to make some addition or a little bit addition. So we can have a translation become Las Vegas seperti cermin dikelilingi cahaya terang. The last method is free translation. Remember, we can only use free translation if literal translation and translation with addition aren't applicable. So we can use free translation, but translators have to have understanding or knowledge about the source language. For example, for British people, there is a metaphor 2 grass growing minute. If we translate that literally to Indonesia, that makes no sense. That means actually a boring situation, so we have to use free translation, so it becomes situasi yang membosankan. So I think that's all from our group. Thank you for your attention. I hope you understand what we have explained, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.